This video is going to show you how to use NetBeans to work on our Java program. After you install IDE, NetBeans IDE, you should have an icon created on your desktop. So double click on this icon. You're gonna open the start page for the IDE. So you can navigate from the top menu. I only introduced the very basic command to use NetBeans IDE to work on Java program. First, we should know IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, which has editor, debugger, and compiler integrated together all in one. Before we use NetBeans, we use Notepad++ or Notepad as editor. We have to, from command prompt, to manually call the Java compiler, which is Java-C. We all know that. And for debugger, we don't have any debugger in the command prompt environment. We have to read the error message. Based on the error message, the line number, we go back to the Notepad to edit, modify the code. But NetBeans IDE have all in one. It has everything. So let me show you how to work on the NetBeans environment. So first, click on File and a new project. For Java, when you work on NetBeans IDE, you better create a project. So make sure Java and Java application being highlighted, then click on Next. So choose default and remember the location. In my case, my Java project gonna stored in C user, my username, document, and NetBeans project folder. So if you want to change it, you can change it from here, but I don't recommend you change it because this way, when you need me to help you, I know what is your default folder for your project, right? And the project name, you can choose whatever name you want. For instance, if I am working on module 4, I can choose module 4 as the project name. And in this case, uncheck this create main class, because if you create a main class, it will create a default main program, default Java program, give you a main method, and also create a package that will confuse you for now because we haven't learned package yet. So make sure uncheck this create main class checkbox, then click on finish. It will take a little while for the first time, I believe. Yes. So this is an empty project created for you, module 4. The project name is module 4. So later you can reopen this project and remember where is the location. So you click on this source file, you click on source package, click on default package. You don't have any file yet. This is the library. This is the library, which means the Java JDK library automatically added to my project, so you don't need to worry about that part. And like I mentioned, you need to remember the location. We don't have any file yet. For instance, if I want work on module 4's code in figures file, how do I use NetBeans IDE to work on that? So go to your module 4 and the code in figures, which means all the example code for this module, is listed on learning activity number 3. In some module maybe listed into underneath interactive lecture, but anyway, find the code in figures and click on this file, zip file. This file include all the example code from the book. Then save it. In my case, I save it into download folder. I save it, then I go to that folder, the download folder. Right click on this file, extract here or extract all, you will have all the files, right? Remember, this is the file you download from Blackboard. If I want my NetBeans IDE work on all this file, how do I do? I need to copy all this file to my folder. Where is that folder? When we create this project, I let you remember that folder, the default location, right? So let's copy the file, select all of them, then click on Ctrl C, you copy it. And like I mentioned, the file, the default folder for the NetBeans projects is in your computer, C, users, your username, and the document. And there, inside this document, there is a NetBeans project. See that one? This is created by today, which is 2016 September 14th, right? So you click on this one. Module 4 is the one I created. I already have a few project created before. So this is the module 4, right? Created today. So click on this folder. Then there is a subfolder called SRC. This is the source file folder. So you need to paste all your file here. After you paste your file, if you set up, config your NetBeans properly, when you go back to NetBeans, the file should list it here. See, all the file listed here, all the Java file. This is a navigator folder. If you don't need it, you can minimize this folder, right? If you want it, you can go to open the window. You can open that window again. I'm going to talk about that later. So now you're going to have a project, you're going to have a file, you're going to have a service, right? We don't talk about too much services, so you can close it. File, we use the file is here. But for project, usually we work on project, you can close the file too. In other words, if you need it later, you can open from here, from the open file folder, open file option from the Windows menu. So for project, if you copy the file and paste it to the SRC folder, right, like I mentioned, C, users, your username, and looking for document, and looking for NetBeans project, and the project you just created, SRC. If you already copied the file and you don't show it from this project folder, in other words, my default package is still empty, you can close, exit your NetBeans, and restart it again. It takes a little while because it's a package. It's a big package. Yes. You see, you open the file again, and this time I guarantee the file will display it in this folder. So the Windows, if you want to know a little bit of detail, you can go to Google looking for, you can type how to create a NetBeans project, right? The document will introduce the interface of the NetBeans. But I only want to you on the left hand side, this is the project or files, and this side is the editor field. I'm going to show you. This is a start page. Usually we don't need it, right? After you have this, for instance, if I want to work for overriding variable.java, you can double click on the file from the project, and the file going to list it here. If you feel like I'm going to increase a little bit the font, you can click on Tool, Option, Font and Color. And for the font, you feel like 13 is too small, I want 18, right? You click on OK. The font will be increased a little bit for you. In my case, I better increase a little bit bigger because I want to make sure I want to make sure you can see it properly, clearly on the video. Yes, this is the editor. So if I run this file, you can either right click on the file, click on run file. This is similar like we call the compiler javac and call java, the two commands we run from the command prompt, javac and java. In this case, the run file gonna do both. In this case, when I run this program, it didn't display anything. That means, oh, it is displayed. There is a new window called output window displayed underneath here. You can drag and drop this output window to different location, but see, you can drag and drop to in the same level of your code, your editor, but I like to let the output underneath. You can resize the window underneath and my code on top, right? This is the result. This is the result displayed here. It is similar to like if we use the command prompt, like I go to right. If I run javac overload variable java and call java overload remove the class, right? It is similar like this, but the display window is here, the code editor is here, and also it has a very powerful function to very easily to debug your code. I'm going to show you that later. I want to resize this window a little bit. For instance, if I have something like this, right? I type my name and you have a red arrow, you mouse over it, it tells you immediately what is this. I'm sorry, I have you can see you have an arrow and we will tell you the arrow, right? This is on cannot find symbol, which means you haven't declare this as a variable or whatever. You're also missing the semicolon, right? Cause the next line has a problem. So in other words, it's very handy for you to debug your program. Much better. You're gonna love it. And also, for instance, let me change the font a little bit slower because it's too big. It's hard for me to show the whole program. For instance, we talk about method in chapter number 4. So if I want to don't let my program run completely to finish the program at once. I want to slow down, stop somewhere on my code. Let me debug my code. You can do that way. This is a very powerful bit. For instance, I'm a little confused the second method call, right? The second method defined here in line 18. This is method definition. And it's being called by the main method. So in order to debug the second method call, I can set something called breakpoint. You can read the online document because NetBeans is not part of our Java programming curriculum requirement, but I still recommend you start from module 3, start from module 4 using NetBeans. So you click on this line number 9, you can have a pink colored line. This is called breakpoint. You overlap, your mouse over the line number, you can see line breakpoint. Set breakpoint. Then you go to debug and click on, see the command. You have a debug file, you have a step into, you have a step over. This is something very important, which means allow you to stop at this line and let you stop the step into. Step into means I'm gonna step into the method call, right? Step over, which means I I debug my program line by line. So see, debug file, you click on debug file, and there is a debug window displayed here. Has a variable, has a breakpoint. If you don't have this one, you can go to Windows, debugging. You can choose to open this window. So in other words, don't worry about this window if, for instance, the window didn't show, right? But I do want my debug window. I can go to Windows, debugging, variable. This variable, you will bring it back. The beautiful thing for variable is it will tell you the current value of the variable. For instance, a number variable right now in the main method, in order to make my window a little bit big, I close the output window, only leave the debug variable window and the editor. So a number is defined here, and I'm calling the second method. I pass a number into it as an argument, and I can check the a number is 10. See here, the number 10, and the type is integer. It is integer, right? Why it is integer? Because when I define second method, I indicate this argument should be integer, right? So when you get here, when the break line change from pink to light green, you can use step into, which is F7. Step into, when you step into, the program will go into the second method because you are calling second method. Let's press F7. See, I'm entering second method call, and you can still check the variable. In this case, it's 10. And you can, now I want run line by line of my code. I don't want finished at once, right? You go to debug, you figure out, oh, step over is F8. So I press F8, my program can run line by line. It can help me debug the program. So this line, the statement, I assign new value to a number. Look at the a number change on the variable. It changed from 10 to 862. Then if I use system out print line to print a number, now should display 800. If you want to take a look, I want the output window, you can bring it back. You see, it displayed after an assignment number is it, which is this line, which is this line. After assignment, and this is this, right? And it has the whole sentence, whole statement. So this is, you can see, use NetBeans is much better than you use Notepad plus command prompt. So if you feel like I already understand everything, I want to finish my debug, you click on this red button. Or you can go to debug, finish debug section, right? I prefer to use this one. So everything complete. And if you want run one more time, you can go to run file. In run file, it displays all the results instead of do the debugging. You see that? This is very helpful, and I hope this video help you to introduce how to use NetBeans to debug your program, to watch the details step by step how the program execute, right? Later when you finish your debug, you can click on this line number again, remove the breakpoint, and when you finish everything, you close all the project, you can exit, right? This is I don't need this anymore, right? So next time, if you want to work on the project again, you can open NetBeans. By default, it will remember the project last time you worked. If you close it, it's gone, right? But you can open project, click on file. This time you don't need to new anymore. For instance, I want to open the project I created last time. You click on open project. Why it takes, yes. And I remember this is the project name. See the coffee icon? This is the project file, which means you can open it, right? Then you can navigate looking for your files. Where is my my file is here. This is the file I worked last time, right? So everything is good. And one more thing I want to introduce a little bit is go to NetBeans module 4. You see the whole module, 1, 2, 3 sub module plus this XML file. This is related with NetBeans project file, right? When we use Notepad++ and the command prompt, we don't have this many things. We only have the Java file and the class file. And back then, the class file are in the same directory of your Java file. But in NetBeans, your class file is in this folder. See all this class file. If you see the .class file, is not in the same directory with your Java file. This is some different between NetBeans and command prompt. I hope this video help you understand how to use NetBeans. From, like I mentioned, from this module forward, use NetBeans. But when you upload your stuff, you only give me your Java code. Don't give me the whole package of NetBeans. I don't like that, right? Thank you for watching.